congestive heart failure. And that's 2018. And in the same year that Craig Mack dies, 2018, Kim Porter dies of lobar pneumonia. Lobar pneumonia. I don't know what the hell a lobar is. I've heard of pneumonia. I don't know what the hell lobar is. Months before she complained of not feeling well. Connection, ex-wife of Albie Shore, longtime partner of Diddy. So in 2000 year, Kim Porter dies the same year as Craig Mack does. What a coincidence. And then 2020, Andre Harrell dies of heart failure. Once again, so 3 people die of heart failure and 1 died of pneumonia. You know what I'm saying? 2020, Andre Harrell dies of heart failure. Mentor figure to Diddy, founder of Uptown, right? And then 2021 hits. And so I'm pretty sure when Andre Harrell died, everybody blamed it on COVID. Right. Black Rob, homeless video surfaced before death. Black Rob dies of cardiac arrest and heart failure. Now, we know Black Rob had that classic hit, Whoa. You could say he's a one-time wonder, but you know what I'm saying? He was on Bad Boy for a long time. Another Bad Boy artist who died without stability. And then 2022 to 2023, Albie Shore survives a coma. Publicly claimed Kim's death was not what they said, igniting speculation. You see what I'm saying? Pattern 1. So here's what the AI broke down. Pattern 1, a high concentration of deaths from Uptown and Bad Boy ecosystem. Heavy D, Andre Harrell, Kim Porter, Craig Mack, Black Rob, and Albie Shore near death. And then it suggests intense lifestyle, industry stress, blah, 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 long-term trauma from 90s culture. Major players are aging under unresolved stress. All right. That's cool. It's too coincidental for all of them to be dead back to back to back. You know what I'm saying? Kim Porter and Craig Mack died in the same year. That's crazy. Pattern number 2, the East Coast, West Coast era deaths remain the most violent. Tupac, Biggie, and Jake. And then pattern number 3, the women tied to industry powerhouse have sudden and mysterious deaths. The women tied, Kim Porter, only woman on the list, the mother of the children for 2 major music figures, Albie Shore and Diddy. Her death is still widely debated. Albie Shore has openly suggested foul play. And then pattern number 4, many Bad Boy artists died young and broke. Yep, Craig Mack and Black Rob. Pattern number 5, across the board, the cause of death fall into 2 categories, violence or health or medical decline. You know what I mean? This is nasty work. Craig Mack, first Bad Boy hit. And it's funny how Craig Mack had a Grammy-winning hit song, you know what I mean? And then he kind of like just faded after Biggie came around. Like, you had to be there to understand, like to really feel the energy. Like, before Biggie, there was Craig Mack, and Craig Mack was the hottest thing on earth. Like, that song, I mean, Funk Master Flex used to drop so many bombs to that song. And then the remix, oh my God. But then it wasn't no like competitiveness because Biggie was on the remix. And then Biggie, as big as he was, coming on the remix, that just made the remix so much bigger. It was crazy. It was a time. It was a time to be had. So it's funny that these people are just dropping like flies and they so close and so adjacent. You know what I mean? The thing about Kim Porter, I noticed a trend with Puff. Like, he kills the ones he loves. You know what I'm saying? He magically moved into Andre Harrell bought a new home. He magically moves in as soon as he gets to home. You know what I'm saying? He moved in before he did. Andre jokes about it. You know what I mean? In the documentary. And Andre's not here anymore. And so I felt like I noticed a trend, like he kills the ones he loves. You know what I mean? Kim Porter was the only one who didn't put up with his shit and kind of had him wrapped around her finger. Almost. You know what I mean? And you know, she magically catches pneumonia. You know what I'm saying? Like it's too odd. And you know, you would think like, oh man, how the hell does he get away with all these things? But then when you see all these people dropping like flies, and then it's so questionable and mysterious, you understand how he gets away with these things. If you were adjacent to him or in his circle or around him or working for him, and you see all these people dropping like flies, just mysteriously dying of all these sudden illnesses, right? You'd be like, oh shit, let me put 2 hands on the wheel and keep my mouth shut. Right? So yeah, it's just an odd thing. And then you see the breadcrumbs. You know, he names his producers the Hitmen, right? He names them the Hitmen. The Shine shooting, the way he made Shine take the fall for that. You know, yeah, I think that's an intricate detail. You know, he made Shine take the fall, but he was the one who pulled the trigger. You know, and then the artist constantly leaving. I didn't think nothing of it when Craig Mack left. You know, but when Mace left, I was like, ooh, something ain't right. When Mace left, I was like, something ain't right. Like, the second album was trash. I wouldn't say it was trash, but it wasn't all that compared to his first album. But the fact that you were like you carried the flag, you carried the Bad Boy flag after Big died. You know what I mean? And you just suddenly don't want to rap no more. You don't want to be in hip hop no more. And when he wrote his book, I think it was in 2001 or 2002. He wrote his book, and I bought the book and I read it. And I followed his trajectory and how he became a preacher. You know, how he moved to Atlanta and became a preacher. You know what I And it was a pretty good book. He didn't really get into too much detail as to as to what his dealings were with Puff, but he talked about, how, like, a lot of street guys were leaning on him for money, you know what I mean? And there was pressure coming from a lot of different directions. And, his ties in Harlem were the walls were closing in on him in Harlem, you know what I mean? And it was getting real dark for him, and he had to jump ship. And then he left owing Puffy money, you know what I mean? And then he tried to do a little comeback I remember back in 2003. I remember that. And it was a hit song. It was a popular song. Like there's a lot of love for Mace. You know what I'm saying? Mace has a lot of love. Yeah, the artist constantly leaving him. Artist constantly being broke. You know, the way the Locks had to get out from up under him. And the only reason the Locks made it out clean or safe is because they had a whole team behind them who's from where Puff is from. You know, they rep the Yonkers, but that whole Yonkers, Westchester County area, that whole area, Yonkers, Westchester, Mount Vernon, all of that, you know what I mean? They all from that area. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure, behind closed doors, a lot of words were had behind some, powerful street figures, you know what I'm saying, who are tied to Puff. Because one interesting thing about Puff is, he kept, like most rappers, they keep goons with him, but Puff kept a lot of bosses with him. I remember watching Making of the Band, and they would show some of his security, and like, this is such and such, and he's a real high up figure in the streets or whatever, blah blah blah, and he's working his security. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, damn, for you to come up out the streets and then come work for Puff, you know what I'm saying? Like, he must be paying you a whole lot for you to be a boss in the streets and you want to do Puff security. You know what I mean? And I think the kind of beef that Puff had, you know what I'm saying, especially with the whole East Coast West Coast drama, I think he needed to have street guys around him. I don't think guys with 3-piece suits and bulletproof vests would be enough intel, would be able to get enough intel that Puffy needed for him to move the way he was moving. You know what I mean? Especially when you got bosses and kingpins on your security detail. You know what I'm saying? Like, they know a lot in the streets. You know what I mean? And so when you're trying to move comfortably, and you going in and out of places, and you need to check the scenery out, or check in, as they say in recently in hip hop. When you need to check in, you got people around you who can check.
Ha. Hey yo, P, do that freaky jam on the beat. Busy with that butter shit, that bone feed. Did you double do that song thing? Flicky chicky with some butter, so that bone thing. If you cheeky cheddar check, I get her own cheese. It's a chicken with that head or it's a bitch that won't be with the official with that whole skis. Like if you check the wish that with that long.
I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. You a badass bitch. That don't get swallowed in that fat ass bitch. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me